All right, so July is here, and with July, typically what we see is warmer conditions, drier conditions. So we're really worried about our soils drying out and those root system of our plants drying out. And as we start looking at mulching and composting, I want you to keep a couple things in mind. When we're dealing with plant material, whether it be our garden beds, natives, shade trees, just about any plant material that's in the ground or even in container, when we try to mulch, we try to use something more like compost. Something that's been broken down, might have a few extra ingredients, whether it be rabbit manure, chicken manure, a little bit of extra nitrogen, and we're using that underneath the plants. So there's something called the drip line on a tree or a plant. It's the very edge of a plant, and that is straight down. And underneath that canopy is where we are going to be putting that compost. So compost is there to feed the plants. It's also there to hold in the moisture. As we look at mulching and composting, what we're looking at is the size of the pieces. So the really big chunky stuff you might find, that is great for decoration. It's good for walkways, but it doesn't really help hold in that moisture. So as you're looking for things to put in your garden beds around your plants, look at compost underneath those plants. If you are looking for a way to keep that moisture in the ground and outside of that drip line, so places that you're walking or just open spaces, what we're looking for is something that is smaller pieces that's gonna last a really long time. And what we actually like to use, especially around natives, is shredded redwood. So this is from redwood trees and it's the bark, and they take that redwood and they shred it up. So this is really fine, light and fluffy material. It's not light enough so when it blows winds and all these type of things, it's gonna fly away. This is gonna stick around your plants. And it keeps nice and fluffy and it's gonna hold in that R value. So that R value or that thermal barrier is actually gonna be there to keep that moisture in the ground and keep those roots nice and cool. As we look at compost and mulching, shredded redwood, it's great around natives, it's great for hillsides, places we might be walking on, whereas compost, we're using it under those drip lines. Now let's talk about something we can be planting for this time of year. It is getting warmer, so we're looking at plants that need a little bit more heat. So my favorite seeds to plant are sunflowers. There's so many different types of sunflowers. There's sunflowers that get about this tall. There's some that get 8 feet tall. But for the ones that I like to pick, first one is called Autumn Beauty Sunflower. And this is a sunflower that's not just red. It'll have yellows, oranges, and reds all into it. This will typically grow about 8 feet tall, so it is a taller sunflower. It'll have a nice big head to it, and these are great for pollinators. So as we are drying out and there's not a lot of food out there for our hummingbirds, our bees, our butterflies, even our birds, that's where sunflowers come into play. So these are great for in-ground, they're fast to grow and fast to germinate. The other type of sunflower I like to grow, it's called a lemon queen sunflower. And lemon queens are really beautiful and they're more of a bush sunflower. So you're able to alternate these as you're planting them to kind of give you a full effect of sunflowers. So something really cool that I learned about sunflowers from Hillary from Girl Next Door Honey. So if you want to learn about beekeeping, she's a great resource. Sunflowers are not just one big flower, they're actually made up of a lot of smaller flowers. As we get into warm season, we're also looking at pests. Bugs are out there, they're eating our plants, they're sucking out all those juices. One thing that we find a lot in our areas, especially this time of year, are cabbage moths. And those are those white butterflies we see flying around. They're actually not a butterfly, they're a moth. And they lay an egg all over our vegetable plants. And as they're laying those eggs hatch and are those little light green, maybe sometimes lime green caterpillars. And they sometimes just destroy our gardens. If you're not having a big problem, go ahead and just pick them off, toss them aside, give them your chickens, whatever you want to do with them. But if you find yourself having a really big issue, what we like to use is a bacteria, and it's called BT. BT stands for bacillus, which is a bacteria, and this is a ready-to-use spray. So what we're doing is we're using the bacteria that we're gonna be spraying on these leaves, and typically with bacterial sprays, we spray in the evening time. Don't spray in the morning during the day because sunlight is not great for this bacteria. In the evening time, what's really good about spraying in the evening time too is all those caterpillars, that's when they're eating. It's cooler out, they're out on top of leaves, they're chewing everything up, and as they digest that bacteria is what's gonna get them. So for this time of year, using that BT spray to keep those caterpillars at bay, planting your sunflower seeds for all your pollinators, and doing a good job mulching. These are my tips for July. If you have any other comments or what you're doing in July for all your plants, definitely comment below, or even better, come in and talk to us because we'd love to see what you're doing.